Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to explain the last method, the third method of drawing rectangle using rectangle command. Remember, we're using rectangle command, the third method. Reviewing first method, 2 points, the two corners, diagonals. Second method, using the length and width. Third method will be area, starting with one corner point, area, length or width. So we may need a corner point to start with, we need the area, and we need whether length or the width to be able to draw the rectangle. Now, the review, we said that length always will be the horizontal distance. So this is length. Even if the rectangle is like this is length for AutoCAD. Remember this place. And the height will be with, no matter if it's small, smaller, we already call it width. Even if it is larger, bigger than this part, we still call this one width. Remember, this is for AutoCAD, not engineering, because we know engineering, this is the length for us, this is width. But in AutoCAD, this is length, this is width. No matter what, always horizontal is length. Now, why we need to know about area? Sometimes you're restricted to a location, you know the area. Let's say you're trying to build something. Now, someone is asking you, let's zoom a bit. So I'm trying to do something to explain this metaphorically. What does it mean? Now let's say we're trying to draw something. Let's say there is a building, or there is a part of the drawing. Someone is asking you to use a part of this here. They will tell you that yes, you can use 3 meter here, 3 meter here. You can use an area, this corner, the width or this one will be length for AutoCAD, this dimension to be 3 meter, but the area shall not be more than, for example, 120.5. Let's say that they will tell you that this is the area that you have to cover it. Yeah, we can do it. We can find the length of it. Sure, we know because we're engineer. We know the length of it. This divided by 3, we can find the length of it. But when it's come to AutoCAD, we will try to minimize the calculation by hand. Why would I? Imagine if this area is something, a lot of decimals there. Maybe it's big. So why would I have to? Maybe this is also not an integer number. So why would I divide it and write it somewhere when there is a method I can do it, and AutoCAD will simply do this process for me. So we will try to draw an area within this here, but the length, this side will be 3. So how much will be the other dimension? The area will decide. Automatically AutoCAD is going to calculate based on 3, and the area is going to calculate how much will be this side of the rectangle. So this is one way to use area in rectangle. So you have the area, you have one of the dimension, that's what we said, that one of the dimension and the area. Yes, you need to starting point. Where do you start? So this is something that we have to start with it. We're going to explain the problems that we have with this one in order to know it in detail, the difficulties that we have with this example. Now let's say that we have, for instance, we have this example. The area is 122 millimeters square. So meter square, like the unit is given here. So this is 6. I'm going to go for the units. I'm going to change the meter, and this will be a way that to remember. If you have units on the drawing, sometimes you're writing given here this is meter, but I know this is meter square. Let's say I'm going to do the unit as well here, because we saw explaining the first week, but normally I'm not doing it in the practice because some of them, they have units on the drawing. So I have a units here. I'm going to do the unit as well. So we're going to draw a rectangle. The area must come 122 meters square. This is we called what? The height one. This is going to be the width for AutoCAD. Whatever will be the length, AutoCAD will find it automatically. So let's go to AutoCAD. Limits for this one, it's given that we can use 0, 0, 40, 20, or if the screen is already prepared, so let me do the limits. Limits 0, 0, then 40, 20, enter, Z, enter, A, enter. Now the drawing is set. We're going to go to rectangle, whether clicking on the rectangle icon or just type REC, press enter. It will ask me specify first point. Yeah, we have to start somewhere. Let's say I click somewhere and we want to draw the rectangle to be like this. Now, I don't have other corner, I don't have dimension. What do I have? Area. Since we want to change option, where do we look? We look at the command line. In the command line, it says that specify other corner point or area, dimension, rotation. We have area. So I can click on this one. Look, if I click by mouse here, I don't know if you can see that the cursor changes to a finger pressing that one. Or the easiest way to add, I can see A is blue, so I can just simply type A here. Doesn't matter, even small is okay. Small a is still okay. Hit enter. Now command line changes. What does it tell you? Enter area of rectangle in current units. Look, in current units. Now it reminds me that I haven't set the units. Yes, I'll press escape. I'll press escape. Why? Because the units for the area is meter square. I'm gonna go to unit. UN. Look, I pressed escape. Pressed escape. I can do this. I just realized that I didn't set the units before drawing. I pressed escape. So escape. UN for units. I'm gonna change the units to meters. Meters. I want this to be 3 precision. It's okay. Press OK. Now it's unit. It's in meters. Repeat rectangle. Specify first corner. I'll click somewhere. Then it will ask me specify other corner. I don't have other corner. I have area. So I'll type A, stand for area. Remember why A stand for area? Because A it's blue for the area. If R also blue, I have to write AR. We're gonna see them in a different example. Hit enter. It will ask me specify area of rectangle. We had 122 as the area. Hit enter. Now when you hit enter here, it will ask you calculate the rectangle dimension based on length or width. So which one do we have it here? We have width. Yes. How do I know we have width? Because the width is given to us, the height is, this is given to us, and we know that this in AutoCAD, this is width. We know that this is width. So I'll select width. AutoCAD will calculate the other dimension. So select width, and we're gonna give 6 there. So we'll go back to AutoCAD. We're gonna click on width. Like here you have to use mouse, or I don't know if you use the arrow key, the down arrow key on your keyboard. You can just simply up and down, you can change it. Well, if you bring it on, you can click, press enter, or you can use the mouse over it and click. It's up to you. For example, like this, I can click on the width or press enter, both of them okay. But if you press enter, make sure that the dot is with the width, then hit the enter. If not, use the mouse, just simply come here and click. Now it will ask you enter rectangular width. The rectangular width is 6. Hit enter. Directly it will draw the rectangle for you. It will draw the rectangle. Now if I measure, for example, this is going to be, this is 6, and if I measure we'll teach you this one later. Before midterm, we're going to teach you how to do this one for checking. This is 20.333. We didn't have this 20.33. We had area basically. Yes, we had area. Area of this rectangle, we had it. I'm going to teach you these things when it comes to so it tells me the area is 122, the perimeter is 52.667. So don't worry about the last thing I did. It's just for checking, So this is 6, and this is found to be 23 by itself, but the area will come out as 122 meters square. Now what is the problem with this one? What is the problem with this? Let's explain a problem. Let's repeat it again. Let's repeat it again. Rectangle. When we activate rectangle, the first thing we need is the one point to start. Now I didn't explain too much about this point, where it has to be. This is one of the disadvantages of these methods. The point that you have to select for the rectangle, it must be this point here. Automatically when it draws, it goes here. So how can we manage this one? We have to use minus for the if the rectangle comes down, we have to use -6 instead of 6 to go down. This is some problem we have it with this command here, but we have other commands later. When we understand them, we can use them to manage this problem we have it here in the area methods. So remember, you can draw it later, we can call it move, we can move it, rotate it, whatever we want it, we can manage it the way that we want it. But remember, the disadvantage of this one, this corner must be selected. Look, let me just show it to you. Let's say on the board, I'm trying to draw this rectangle, I'm trying to draw this rectangle like this. The same rectangle, but to be like this. So where do I click? I will click it here, and I'm expecting it to come like this. Let's say it doesn't work. So imagine I'm starting from here. I need the rectangle to come here. Let's say it doesn't work with the same procedure. Rectangle is activated. First corner will be here. Then I don't have other corner. I have area. So we type A for area. Hit enter. Press enter. Excuse me. Enter area of rectangle 122. Hit enter. Then it will ask me which one do you have it. I have width. I'll click on the width. Then it will ask me enter rectangular width. It's 6. Hit enter. Look, where did it go? I clicked here. I clicked at this point here, and I was expecting the rectangle to come here, but it didn't come here. It always goes to this positive corner, positive quarter. This is the way that this method is working. So how can we manage this one? In the next, most probably for the few weeks later, we're going to teach you how to manage these editing tools in AutoCAD, that we can overcome these difficulties when we're facing it in AutoCAD. Remember this, please. This method works in this way. The point is that you have it must be this lower left corner, must be this point here, in order to draw it to come. Why? Because sometimes you may have coordinate this point. That will be a problem. If I have coordinate at this point, I will have a problem. Why? Because if I use this coordinate, then the drawing goes in this manner. Remember, this is the problem we have. So if I give you, look, I'm going to give you something to see that if you'll be able, to understand what is the problem. So let's just zoom a bit here. So I'm going to draw something here. Sorry. It will be enough here. Somewhere a bit. Okay. Now, let's say we have a rectangle. And what do we have on this rectangle? To see, can we do this one? We have the coordinate of this point, which is, let's say, the coordinate of this one, 15 by 20, the coordinate of this point there. And we have the area. Let's say to be 100 meters square. Then what else do I have? I have another things. I have dimension. Let's say we have the length. We have the length of this rectangle to be 8.25. Let's say we have this one. Now what is the problem I'm facing it? What is the problem I'm facing it? Because I have area, AutoCAD basically will need this point to start with it. Then I'm going to give the area, give the, this is going to be length for AutoCAD, yes, give the length, it's going to find this one. But this point will not end up exactly, will not end up on 1520. Why? Because we said that when we have coordinate, we have to start to ensure that this point here will be at the coordinate of 1520. Imagine this is a building. This corner must be at this location, So how do you manage this one? Like this one, a simple problem, but we can manage it in a different manner. If I understand, if I know some other commands, we can simply manage this one. We will draw the rectangle, then we will manage it in a way that this corner will be at 1520. Look, we're gonna do this one to see what will be the problem. Yes, to see what will be the problem. Let me do this one to see the problem. So I'm gonna go to AutoCAD. We have a rectangle. I cannot start with 1520. Remember, I can start with 1520, but the rectangle will go where? The rectangle will be like this. Remember, if I start with 1520, the rectangle would go here. Why? Because it always goes for the positive corner. So in order to do it, I have to start with this one. But if I start with this one, I may not end up exactly at this. Coordinate. So let me show you both of them in this video in order to understand the problem with this methods, and you will need that. You required extra information with other comments to manage this later. So an area 100, this is going to be 8.25, and this is 1520, to see what will happen. So let me just write them here. This is 15. Let's see, this is 1520. This is 8.25, and this is the area is 100 meters square. Area 100 meters square. So we're going to go to AutoCAD and to see if we have the problem with this one. First, we're going to start with 1520 to see what will happen. 1520. I'm going to go to AutoCAD. So I'm not going to do limits. I'm going to use the other technique. So I'm going to start with rectangle. For the first one, I'm going to write 15,20. Hit enter. Yes, I can see it on the screen. So this is the coordinate. Now we're going to go for area. A for area. The area is 100. What do we have here? We have length. So we click on the length, and the length is 8.25. Hit enter. Look, it went up. Yes, if I check now, there's line. If I check, yes, this is 1520. I mean, this dimension, it's basically, this is 8.25. The other one, AutoCAD find it by itself. It will be more than 8. So the rectangle I did, it was supposed to be something, because this side we didn't know, so AutoCAD find it by itself is more than 8. That's why it became like this. But I didn't want it like this. Indeed, I wanted to be in this manner. I wanted the rectangle to come here, to be something like this. So whether it will be like this or that doesn't matter. But I wanted this point when we started. This is the coordinate 1520. 1520 will be this point, not like this. I don't want this one. Yes, I wanted something like this. So that's the point that we couldn't start with this 1520. Well, if I don't want to start with 1520, what will be the problem? Let's say I'm gonna start with lower, somewhere here. Sorry, where do I start? Rectangle. We activate rectangle. Let's say I start with this point here. We're gonna go for area. A for area. Area is 100. Length, we have it here. Remember, length here does not mean length, this means the horizontal dimension. We have it to be 8.25. Hit enter. Yes, this time This time the drawing comes the way that we wanted, but this coordinate, is it 15? Is this coordinate here 15? No, it's 16, 18. Look at this, 16.945 by 18.914. It didn't come as exactly the coordinate that I have it here. So this is the problem. We will manage this one when we talk about some other editing commands after we finish drawing commands. So this is, you have to pay attention for this one. When you have area, you're supposed to understand that the lower left corner must be selected to draw the area. If you have coordinate on any other corners, you have to use another command to make sure that the coordinate will be at its location, as the way that we saw it here, And I want this one to be at 1520, but it is not. So this is, we have to deal with it later. We have to deal with this one later. This is basically a rectangle command. So far we just covered line and rectangle. For this week, we're gonna cover circle as well. I'm gonna cover circles, some videos that comes after that. Thanks for watching.